Hey there, this is Fun with Research and I'm Susan Beyer. Glad you could join me today. I had a great conversation recently with a prospective client about doing some thought leadership research for their agency. And they asked a really good question, which was, what if the research doesn't support something we think? What if the research shows that we're not always right, for example? And I love that question, but I think it's really important to understand that when you embark on research, you don't know what it's going to tell you. And if you do, you're probably doing something wrong. Research is really best designed to prove yourself wrong, to ensure that your biases aren't sort of affecting your worldview, and that you're getting real information. And one of the things I love about research is sometimes it shows you something unexpected that flies in the face of even your expectations. So my friend Drew McClellan and I have done for many years an annual research study called the Agency Edge, for the benefit of marketing agencies. And we did a study back in 2016 with agency employees. And it was really driven by a sense that a lot of agency owners had that millennial employees in particular weren't carrying their weight, weren't engaged in supporting the agency like they would hope, weren't really looking for a leadership opportunity down the line, and just sort of had attitudes that agency owners felt were not commensurate with the kind of money people were making, et cetera. And this was a particularly a problem in their minds with millennials. So Drew and I did this study with employees, and we did in fact find this sort of millennial outlook, quote unquote, really people sort of lining up with those expectations about the attitudes of that particular group. The interesting thing was, though, the majority of people in that segment were not millennials, and the majority of millennials were not in that segment. So it really turned on its head this concept that some owners may have that sort of millennials are the problem. When in fact, there's certainly a problem from an agency owner's perspective with employees who sort of carry this set of attitudes about their work. But if they're only look at millennials for that, and they're avoiding hiring millennials, for example, or they're really focusing their efforts to shift things with only that group of employees, they're missing other challenges and other opportunities that they could be addressing with people of other ages in their staff. So that was a really interesting example for us. And I think that study has gotten some of the highest engagement of any study we've ever done. And I think part of it was because we came out and said, despite what we might have expected to find, this is what we found. And it gave us an opportunity to sort of talk about that disruption in our expectations and that of the expectations of many agency owners, which shows some vulnerability, some integrity. You know, a lot of people look at thought leaders and thought leadership and say it's all an effort to get you to buy something. It's too sales oriented. Well, if you're out there saying, hey, we expected to see this and we didn't, that kind of flies in the face of that, and really I think shows your genuine interest in understanding these audiences. And then you can build thought leadership content off of that finding, and talk about maybe why that wasn't what you expected to see. And now that you see that, what do you think folks should be doing with it? So I love the question that I was asked, but the reality is research will find what it will find. And I see real opportunities in research that finds something that you didn't expect, that maybe flies in the face of the way you've been talking about an audience or thinking about an audience or advising your agency clients about an audience. So I think that's good. I hope you do too. Thanks for joining me this week. We'll see you next Friday on Fun with Research. Bye.